He goes, here's where you can go meet her. So I would go there with my dog, and sure enough, I see this little petite glasses-wearing girl with a big butt, all interested in my dog. And I'm like, wow, he was right.
So warm. There was nobody on the beach. It was really beautiful. And what else?
There were waves just flying too. Not big, but it was glassy. I saw guys out.
Guys are out sitting on boards.
There were some waves. There were some waves.
There were no waves.
All right, let's do this show. Let's get this going here.
All right,
Okay, let's
let's
go.
do it.
Flopping around here. All right, we're back. Combat-based podcast. We're up for another episode here. What up? Tobin, the producer, right here.
Hi, Tobin.
We got the CEO on deck over here. What are you doing?
I have this like random paper towel. There.
Almost.
Made it in the trash, but I definitely didn't play basketball.
How are you?
Over here, just, representing CBH.
Nice.
CBH, combatbase.com, coffee mug.
Epic.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
That's my business.
Nice.
That's my business.
Ain't nobody's assistant. I wish I had an assistant.
That'd be nice.
Assistants are nice.
All right, we got the venerable over here. What are you doing, man?
Just hanging out. Another beautiful morning in sunny Southern California. As summer wraps up, I always think the best month is September. That always feels like the best summer month.
It does. It does. All right. Well, we're here. We got a fun situation going on. We got a little dark on the last episode.
Glad we did.
Too dark. Sorry,
little
everybody, if you were disappointed in us.
But we're going to go light on this episode. We're going to get some details on romance, OTM. Romance on the mats.
Okay.
Romance.
We got a couple experts in this field here.
Oh.
A couple experts about romance.
Well, let it be
OTM.
known that we did not meet in jiu-jitsu.
We did not.
Because sometimes that's kind of, I don't know if it's creepy. Like if you're a white belt and you show up and then all of a sudden you're dating the 2nd degree black belt coach.
That could be very Epstein-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we start to get a little dark. Right?
Good to know.
Because
Maybe.
like, what if it doesn't work out and stuff?
Well, so, yeah.
But what if you like meet some girl somewhere and then she goes, oh, I'd like to go train jiu-jitsu. Is that different?
Well,
Maybe it's not.
Well, I'm kind of all for romance. Like, growing up, I was a guy who was a matchmaker. Like, I was a guy who'd go, that person should be in a relationship with that person. I'm going to try to set them up. I just have that
sing
thing.
all these songs in my
Matchmaker,
head.
matchmaker,
make me a match. Find me a find.
And
catch me a
my
catch.
dad was a matchmaker.
Fiddler on the Roof.
My dad was always trying to set up his friends. I would overhear him talking about how, God, it's tragic that she won't like him because they'd be perfect together. So I got that matchmaker thing going.
Nice. Well, before we dig in too deep, though, let's just say we still have Patreon. You can get on there and you can pledge some dough. Yeah.
Good.
If you like hearing us, help us out.
Yeah. And you can email questions, podcast@combatbase.com. You can hit the hotline, 949-791-7763.
We love questions.
We love questions.
So much.
So tell us then, friends, how do you have a healthy relationship on the mat?
Well, I'll tell you something that happened. So I was interested in jiu-jitsu. Chris, shows me some things, and then he starts taking me to classes. And there were a few places that he was teaching back in the day. This was in 2003. And he was teaching at Centerline Gym, which was in Bellflower at the time.
And
in
a karate
little
school.
tiny, no, it wasn't in a karate school. He
That
had
was a
his
different
own
one.
spot.
I know.
But it was a little, I'm talking about Centerline Gym.
Yep.
It was a little school, Jerry Wetzel's place. And so Chris would always mess around with stand-up clinch and ground like he does. So he tells me, hold this pad. And then he's gonna mule kick it, I think, right? He's on the ground. And so I just hold it, and he kicks it, and I fly
Flew
across
across
the
the
room.
room, yeah.
Because I had no concept of base or anything. I'm brand new to all of this. I'm a white belt. I fly across the room, but I was really feisty and a little bit aggro, and have always dealt with some
You
anger
got
management
mad, yeah.
problems. And I just ran at him, started beating the crap out of him, punching him. Like, it just like triggered that, whatever. So, it wasn't long after that, I think, that we realized I needed a different coach. And so I did. I got a different coach. He set me up with Cindy Omatsu, the first woman, female American to receive a black belt in jiu-jitsu under Higa Machado and Lecca Vieira. And I started doing private lessons. I would do one private lesson with her a week here at our home, little tiny one-car garage in the front. She would come over, would do one private lesson a week, and then she taught 2 women's classes a week on like Tuesdays and Saturdays, and I would go to those. And then we also had an open mat, like a small people open mat on Sundays. So I was training with her 4 days a week. And then I would go to his classes too. But having her, she was kind of like my primary coach in the beginning. It separated that dynamic of he's going to do stuff that's going to piss me off. Because first of all, he's way bigger than me, way stronger than me, way more experienced. Now, Cindy was also a black belt, but she was my size. And she wasn't going to do any stupid shit because she's a nice woman. She's not like a fly across the room. And the other thing that happened to me, Chris taught it was a ninjutsu. It wasn't karate.
It
was a ninjutsu school. This was before Cindy too. I think, or maybe.
Oh, that big guy that popped your sternum?
He took me to class, and he partnered me up with a huge person, and we were doing the arm bars where you press on their chest and swing your leg around. And the guy did it to me, and it popped my sternum, and I literally could not move.
Yeah,
and I went to the doctor and had to get like an IV injection of some kind of pain reliever because I literally was.
He like clearly did not realize I didn't handle it right. Like, he put all his weight on her chest when he swung around.
But it's like little things like that that I feel like being a smaller female, and even now I think that male instructors are more aware of these types of issues. But you got to remember, back in 2003, there weren't that many. You would rarely run into another female on the mat. There weren't that, even most people are big, strong guys. So anyways, it was a different culture back then. And I was really grateful that I had the opportunity to train with another woman and to learn. And then I could also go back and train in his classes, and then he would say things and I would bounce it off her and see what she thought about it. She would give me a different perspective, and I think both perspectives were really good, especially as a white and a blue belt.
Well, as far as relationships go, what I'm noticing is that when you were a colored belt, you weren't looking up to Chris as your coach.
Correct.
So the person that you were dating, you took away the power structure of the belt ranking and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And it allowed you to not have Chris be the one with that power over you in a school type of environment. And that seems like a good move. Yeah. It seems like it can get
I'm smarter than I look, huh?
With kids, with kids and relationships, it's important to not be your kids or your partner's instructor, because then the power dynamic
but
can
I
get
think
weird.
we noticed mutually that by the time I was pretty close to getting my brown belt, he would say, she's become coachable. I became coachable by him because I wanted him to coach me for tournaments. Mm-hmm. I wanted to win. I wanted, I got really fired up in that way, which that was like, he had something that I wanted, so I was able to set the relationship aside. Plus I had enough skill already to where it wasn't like he'd just kick me and I'd fall over. Yeah. Right? So it was a different dynamic, and there were other people too that were also interested in competing. Like Wesley was one of them. Like, he and I would do a lot of tournaments together, and we would train a lot together. And he was like a kid. He was like 15, 16, and there were some other people too, where he would put us through drills, and then we would go down to the beach and do runs and different things where we could look at him as a coach more at that time. So it changed.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Like as you level up, like it would be more likely that you could maintain a healthy relationship
Yes.
with your superior, the higher belt boyfriend,
Purple belt
girlfriend.
and up is definitely an easier thing than trying to be your white belt romantic partner's coach.
Yeah, that seems like it could get tricky and sticky.
Well, and then what happens next is like, you know, we are growing older together, and it kind of seems like there was a phase where we were coaching each other a little bit. Like I was going back and saying, you know, we need to do this or that. And he was like, I'm talking about 10 years ago when he was doing his last competitions, and we would train together and we were trying to motivate each other.
Yeah.
And that to me was also like a pretty healthy dynamic, because I mean,
when I hit the phase where my body couldn't do things anymore, then I had to find adjustments. You were just over your body prime and could still do dynamic inverted moves, which I was starting to struggle with. Yeah, it was a interesting phase for both of our jiu-jitsus.
And ultimately, like now, like I don't ever think of Chris as like, it's not that I don't know, maybe I feel kind of coachless, and that's something that I've kind of been seeking a little bit. I was thinking about it for a minute and didn't kind of follow through on it. But it doesn't really feel like I wouldn't want to say, oh, Chris is my mentor. You know, I feel like I need someone else to fulfill that spot, because I don't feel like that really works in a relationship where
I'm telling her how to do something.
I mean, I could ask his advice and stuff. I will always I always know that he has more experience than me in martial arts, and I can learn things from him. But if I was going to have like a relationship where I was looking for a mentor, I think I would prefer to have another female, experienced female mentor to look to as like somebody that I'm, you know, just kind of getting more advice from as a woman navigating this art and growing old in this art. I would prefer to have that spot filled by a female. Not that we can't commiserate and share things together, but we are in a relationship, you know, that's difficult. We're in a difficult, challenging marriage with lots of moving parts, managing children, elderly mother, all of our pets. And then we're in a business together where I identify as the CEO. Who knows if I really am? But I identify as the CEO and he is the commodity.
Well, what
it's complicated.
what I'm seeing is there's a mutual respect and mutual, it's a mutualism, right? Whereas if you were constantly below Chris, it wouldn't really work. And you know what? It's more fruitful for Chris if you go and seek an outside coach. Yeah. Because then you bring more information and more
new information,
dynamics and more perspectives into the situation where you guys are partners.
Yeah.
And,
I think
so. If anybody's looking to take on a mentee, just kidding.
Like in our episode where we were kind of talking about cults and the jiu-jitsu culture, there's a lot of jiu-jitsu groups that intentionally close themselves off from other groups, that other groups are a threat. It's like they want the information and the moves, but that's all they want. And that gets tricky for those groups. And I really believe as an amateur anthropologist that if you keep your tribe really small, you are going to miss out on the things that are evolving in the greater intermingling world that could be beneficial to your tribe. You got to bring in new shit. You got to bring in new genetics. And humans have that dual drive where we're both seeking to mate with people that are like us and unlike us, right? It's like there's a drive to have offspring that match you because then you know they're your offspring, and a drive to mix the genes up and get other offsprings. That's why humans have such diverse things and why there is that drive that is often a taboo in a culture to breed outside of your tribe. Inter-racism.
Inter-racism.
Yeah, I
Not
think-
racism.
Yeah, right.
Not enter racism.
Enter, where
Inter.
racism comes in. E-N-T.
Oh. Enter. Okay, racism comes in from people wanting to breathe outside of their ethnicity.
From the fear
Oh.
of people in your tribe getting genetically mixed with what they think of as inferior genetics.
I
That's
think
the whole
it's wonderful.
eugenics world.
But anyways.
Nature, nature agrees. Mutts tend to be smarter and healthier than purebreds.
I'm a mutt.
Mutts. One of the reasons why America is strong is because we have not only genetics mixing, but cultures and languages and ideas. And when cultures remain homogenous for too many generations, it gets stale and then new things aren't produced.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And as far as the relationship goes, it's great that you can come together and be partners and draw information from outside sources. That's great. But the main thing is that it seems like whether it was designed or not, you guys have kind of avoided living in that caste system where one person's above the other in the relationship.
She won't let me.
But
But it kind of has worked out that way. Like,
Yeah.
and well, I mean, you suggested that she go find another
Yeah.
coach when she was a
he
lower
set
belt.
me up with Cindy. He
Yeah.
didn't just suggest, he was like, I know who's going to be your coach. It's Cindy.
Yeah, so it
Let's
was,
call her.
was-
And so I did. And so she was. And it just so happened she had 2 classes a week. She was doing privates. She was right in that point of where she was really into being a coach. So it was like a perfect, like all the worlds just came together. I feel so lucky that I got to have that experience because a lot of people don't, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't want to not mention though that Chris is a person who doesn't want to put himself over anybody. Men, female, partners, non-partners. He's not looking to have people bow down to him as the master in any way. And I could see that in another, jiu-jitsu black belt guy, it wouldn't be the same because they would be too much of like, I'm in charge here. I'm the one. I'm the guy. And Chris just isn't like that.
But don't you
ego
kind of
threat.
feel like the people that you know that are like that, they're always struggling in their relationships?
It seems to
I feel like the
Probably,
people
or
that
they
I
have
know-
an affair with this white belt student. I mean, how many times does that happen? That the
happens a
married
lot.
instructor, whose wife is maybe a purple belt, ends up having an affair with the white belt student, and they end up getting a divorce.
very common.
And then he has a baby with the other person,
Yep.
and whatever. I mean, this is just classic.
When I first began to go to other schools and teach, like it was very common. I would fly in someplace, middle America, get picked up on the car ride there. I would hear, so this is what happened. We were under so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'd go, wait, don't tell me. They were having an affair with someone in the relationship. There was some drugs or substances involved. There was something hanky going on with money. And they're like, yeah, you know that guy? And I'm like, I know the story. It's a ubiquitous tale in martial arts. It's not just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's
Because it's
martial
not
arts.
just like people would say, oh, it's a certain population,
Right.
but it's all populations. It's all like
All
we're gonna
martial
talk about
arts have it,
races.
yeah.
No, it's not. It's not just the Brazilians.
Not
that do
just
that.
the Brazilians,
It's all, mainly men, though. Hate to tell you, you women.
That's true.
Much less likely for a woman to do this, and like women most of the time don't even own the schools. So,
Right.
There's more females who own schools now. There's more women training now than ever. So maybe we'll start hearing of some women cheating on their husbands and having a baby with some white belt guy. But
On the island of Amazonia.
Well, I think I want to say Alan asked a question to the podcast a while back about dating someone that he liked, or how was he gonna cook or somebody. I don't know if
he
it was
didn't.
Alan,
That
but-
was a platonic relationship. I clarified with him. It was Alan,
okay.
and he was asking about how to coach a female student on the mat. I mean, I don't know. Does it have to be different? Really, I don't know.
Well, I just
'Cause it
think
was just his
the awareness factor is that if you're interested in dating somebody, right, on the mat, and they're a lower rank than you on the colored belts, right? Maybe not brown belt to black belt or something like that, but if it's lower rank and you're interested in dating them, but you also feel like you're kind of coaching them, maybe that's something to be aware of and to go like check yourself, like, okay, am I leveraging this power dynamic between me and this person that's a lower belt than me a little too much for my own wanting to fulfill my interest in this person? Because that sounds like what you did.
Here's a common issue, and I've seen this happen all the time, is somebody from one school, usually at a tournament or someplace else, will meet somebody romantically from another school and get in a relationship. And then there's two schools now who want that romantic partner to join their school. And then, so there's a fear that a lot of instructors have that they're going to lose their female students to other instructors because of romantic relationships that happen.
But it can go both ways.
It can go both ways.
The man can switch as well. Or I know couples who have chosen to train at separate places.
Yeah.
At least like, you know, through their colored belts.
Yeah.
And maybe they come to get back together when they get brown and black. But that's a conscious decision. Like this place is better for suiting my needs. Maybe there's more women that train at one academy.
More lightweights, more women,
more
the style.
Lightweights, yeah. So I mean, I don't necessarily think that everybody needs to be training together. Another one I've heard of too is that a couple who, you know, maybe they train at the same place, but they don't really roll together because it just doesn't work out for them. They don't have any benefit from it. In fact, a lot of times there's more harm than benefit because they might get too competitive with one another. The woman will say, "Oh, he goes too rough with me. He's too strong," and the man says, "Oh, I don't want to get in a fight about this," or whatever it is, you know. And so then they choose to just not roll together, you know. And again, maybe once they get more advanced, they could come back together and see how that goes.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. One of the very first times when I first started hanging with you guys, we were all on the mat together and you guys were rolling together and you were in some kind of a tiff and you started like arguing with each other while you were rolling. I was like, this is hilarious.
Yeah. No, I think that he and I feel like we've always had a really good dynamic. And I liked rolling with him a lot. And then I remember when he was 50 and he decided to train old man, right? And so keep in mind, he's 50, I'm like 36. Okay.
So I'm now going over the hill and she's on the hill.
And but he's rolling like old man is his definition of rolling. How would you say? It's like you use the least
I try to move the least amount of attributes as I possibly can. And my attributes were always speed and explosion.
So it's this really slow, controlling pressure thing. And it annoyed the shit out of me because I was still competing at that time. And I was used to like fast pace, go, let's move. And I would get mad at him. Like, why don't you move? Blah, blah, blah.
A lot of people would get mad at me.
Yeah, a lot of people were mad. But I think that what happened by him doing that is we all adapted to it.
Yep.
And then not only did we adapt to it, but we eventually got old. And now we're doing it too.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he was just the first to do it.
Nice. Sorry, if I seem a little distracted today, I'm really distracted. I've got like some other thing.
Okay?
No, I'm okay. I just have like some other thing
it?
that keeps like popping into my head and I can't get it out.
You do not seem
I am listening.
distracted. However, maybe something's in the air.
No, I feel like you
I've
guys are
already
talking.
told you what's going on with me.
It involves a relationship with they have in-laws that are bad. People call them outlaws. It's like outlaw issues.
Yeah, I feel like my mind keeps like drifting. Like I'm listening to you guys talk, and then I'm kind of like, oh,
that motherfucker.
Nobody can even tell.
Cool. All right.
I'm also like I've got 10,000 things I'm distracted about.
I am totally focused in here in this now moment.
Yes,
and the rest of you need to go meditate or something.
I feel like I get caught like thinking about 100 things at once, and then like.
I do that when I teach this like cardio fitness class, and I do a routine, and sometimes in the middle of my routine, I'm thinking about all these other things. Okay, where was I? It's so weird how our brains can do that.
Honestly, there's
totally
times
check out
where I feel like my My rolling is like the only time when I actually
Yes.
clear my freaking head.
Your
I feel
brain
like-
can shut down in rolling.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's the same thing.
and like
You
I
guys
feel like
need some work because when you're 80, you might not be rolling and you don't want to be miserable. So start meditating now.
Well, I
so you
feel-
can get to the point where you're not miserable when you're 80.
I feel like when I get invested in other people's rolling too, I can watch
Oh, okay.
live.
Oh,
like,
that's kind of cool. Yeah.
like I've been kind of more interested in Josh's rolling because I know he's trying to compete.
Yep.
And he's going out there, and so I like feel like when I'm watching him roll, I'm like really thinking about what he's doing. I'm like,
And
trying
Chris
to
can
be
really
helpful.
tune
Not that I'm
into
like
a
his coach or
podcast, so he's
anything,
got
but
that going.
Yeah. Well, I can like tune in, but like if I want that, what people call the zone,
you got to be in there.
like I find it the best while I'm grappling. When I run, I can go into kind of a different zone.
Yeah.
And I compare like a long walk compared to a run. They're similar, but the running lets a different part of my brain kind of unlock, and the other parts can like quiet down. And walking lets a different part of the brain. Rolling, it seems to have them all be able to at least shut down. That's what I've noticed.
I'm just going to put this out there because, Chris' mom not doing well.
No.
Chris's mom was a very active woman her entire life. And I feel like part of the reason she's not doing well is because she doesn't know how to sit still.
She doesn't. Yep.
And so I'm just going to propose that to every person who's hearing me talk right now, that if you do not know how to sit still, you will lose your mind.
Yeah.
So please learn how to sit still, how to sit quietly with yourself and
And
your
if you're
mind.
ADHD, that's hard because the way we find the zone is usually through something in movement. Jiu-jitsu, playing drums, music, something that involves...
You might not always have the ability
Yep.
to move. So training your mind is hugely important.
Yeah, I feel like that's where surfing's nice
Yeah.
because it gives you
But you
the
still got to be able to
activity.
get in the water.
Yeah, but like there's stretches of time when you're waiting for waves.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Yep.
you have to be still. And I find myself, I'll paddle out to surf and I get out and I'm thinking about all this stuff. What do I got to do next?
Yep.
And I'm like actively telling myself like, don't worry about that. Just focus on
Yep.
reading the ocean in front of you. Focus on feeling the breeze on your face. Focus on what's right here. And then when this is all over and you're out of the water, you can think about the other stuff. I'm like telling myself that constantly because
So
when you're sitting there, I start to think about all this other crap.
That's really good. And I think that if you have that, then maybe you can cultivate a practice where you sit and you pretend that you're sitting on a surfboard and you're waiting for the waves and you're letting all of those thoughts pass by.
I always love that when you're
That's nice.
laying
It's a
in...
suggestion. I mean, it's really hard to be immobile.
When like you're laying in bed after a good session or like a nap after, you close your eyes and you can feel your body still moving in the water. I love that feeling.
Yeah, I always feel that too from sailing also because
Sailing's fun.
it's kind of like an intermediate, like everything's moving around you, but you're also kind of like your mind is not super occupied. Like
You're both still and in motion simultaneously. It's very
go.
Hegelian,
Yeah, and like
very Tao.
and it's really hard to be anywhere other than here because you're like on this boat in the ocean, and like you're really like
gotta pay
physically
attention.
limited, right?
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
can't get in my car and go do something. You're kind of stuck like right on this little thing in this big huge ocean, trapped on your little boat, and
Immersed in
zen.
nature,
immersed in nature
which
completely,
is wonderful.
and at the mercy
so
of nature.
necessary.
And so at the mercy of
Yeah.
the nature also. So it's like a good, healthy thing.
We should start sailing.
Sailing.
Or just being in nature somehow. We
Yeah.
absolutely do not do that enough. We are absolutely too confined to the
Man-made
devices,
things. Yep, our
the
devices.
screens, and the to-dos.
Oh,
Yeah.
Our life is not that zen right now.
no.
So I have to pretend.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Back
Okay.
to the topic.
Enough
Back to
about that,
romance.
Tobin.
Wait, so
Get focused.
how did you guys meet? I know we've talked about this on the pod before, but I want to just get it clear for this story, for this situation.
We met through a mutual friend. I baited her with my dog. I described the woman I want. A friend said, I know that girl. And I said, get out of here. And he said, no, honestly, I know it. Like, and I'm, exactly how you described it. I'm like, no, you didn't.
What was on the list? Chris, you can be more descriptive.
tell me about
you don't
it.
need to You don't need to
was it?
gloss over this. There was a list of things that he told his friend.
A lot of them, like at the same time I'm verbalizing what I want, I'm thinking about past relationships and what I don't want.
Right. So what did you want, Chris?
I did not want to have kids with, this sounds bad and I'll make a bunch of white people mad, but I didn't
my
want to
God.
have kids who get sunburned because I'm really white and growing
He's
up.
had really
you
bad
get
burns.
sunburned. So I wanted to breed out of the Hauters the sunburn gene.
You see
I
how
call it.
sunburned I get?
And I had been in a relationship with a female at one point in time who really wanted blonde and blue-eyed kids and liked me because of that. And I remember back then thinking, that's when I was also an amateur anthropologist. I'm thinking, God, that's interesting because she has the drive to want to breed alike, and I have a drive to want to breed totally outside. Like I want a mutt. And
But our kids still burn.
I know.
They're just not like,
they would have been worse with
Chris
her.
has a more reddish hue
Yes.
to his skin.
Yeah.
Pinkish
So when I
and
traveled
freckly.
to Africa,
I got to go through all these things.
we just go tangent, quick tangent. When I traveled to Ghana, I went to
The
Ghana.
sun is thin.
Ghana.
They didn't call me white man. They called me red man.
Red man, yeah.
Because my skin's pink. And
Yeah, you
especially
guys are the same. You guys
especially
have
in
a similar
comparison
hue.
to like West African skin color. When you throw me into a group of West Africans, I look very pink.
Yeah.
I'm not white.
Yeah, Chris is pink
I
too.
really believe that humans
But
that
you know, like Chris always thinks that being pink isn't a good thing, but you guys are both very handsome.
I
so-
really believe that humans that have the sunburn gene, the reason why they're such dickheads is because they have that.
Great white curse.
Yep. And they,
Doesn't mean not handsome.
I'm just saying, humans that have the sunburn gene are more predisposed to Nazism than those who don't. That's what I've observed.
Okay.
Okay.
Fact.
All right. So,
So-
you wanted
But so
somebody
I'm
who wasn't
but
going to
describing
be
these
sunburned.
things, what I want, and thinking about what I don't want. And I wanted somebody who is educated because I've been in relationships with educated women, which is wonderful because I don't like dumb fucking people. And I've been in relationship with people that have no education, who like want to watch dumb TV and dumb
I like
things
dumb
and are
TV.
not like these people.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm
I
thinking
think
about,
it's dumb.
and I'm saying how I
Is
want,
TV just dumb?
I
Sorry.
want a petite woman with an itty bitty waist and a big old butt. I don't care about boobs. They got to have brown or black skin, and they have to be educated, and preferably sciences. Preferably
dogs?
the bioscience side. We haven't even gotten there. And I'm picturing in my head to be cute. They have glasses, kind of nerdy, and they've got to love dogs because the relationship I was with before didn't want the dogs to even be in the house. And I've always slept with my dog in the bed. And so there was all that. And while I'm describing all this, he's going, I know that girl. I'm like, get out of here, get out of here. And he goes, here's where you can go meet her. So I would go there with my dog, and sure enough, I see this little petite glasses-wearing girl with a big butt, all interested in my dog. And I'm like, wow, he was right. And there it was.
He had a crush on me, this guy. And we were at this party and he was dancing on a table and he fell off of it and broke his arm. And he
yeah.
was trying to impress me. Oh, poor
Yeah.
little guy.
Poor
Wait, so
guy.
who is this guy?
His name's Rick. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
Is this a friend that you had?
He was a guy.
A kind of friend that knew me
Yeah.
and knew Chris. Yeah, mutual friend.
He was a guy who would also talk about that he wanted to do jiu-jitsu in a lot of ways. They call it the liberal disease. I feel sorry for people, even though they're not good people.
Chris and I had that in common. We would
Yeah.
collect people and they would actually come stay in this room.
Not very
homeless
good people.
Like
Yeah.
random, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with being unhoused, but I met several people who were young, didn't have a place to sleep, and I couldn't like it would
Rescue.
bug me
Yeah.
that like how come I get a place to sleep but they don't.
Yeah.
It's the liberal
This is
disease.
Rick?
Sorry guys.
That
No,
was
Rick
Rick.
didn't live here.
No, he
This is-
didn't
I'm
live
talking
here.
about. I went on a whole nother tangent, but
Rick had a
belongs-
really hard childhood.
He belongs to a class of people that maybe Chris and I might try to think we were helping somehow.
He had
Maybe
a
they were
really-
helping us though.
There-
We don't
yeah,
really know.
every-
Hooked you guys up.
He had a brutal childhood, and my heart goes out to people who've had really hard childhoods. I just feel really bad, even if it's Hitler. I feel really bad for people who've had hard childhoods, and I have a thing that feels like society would be better if we cared about people who had bad childhoods. When I drive past MacArthur Park, I am saddened. Not like, ew, I don't want these people around me. It's like I'm sad for them in their lives.
They're
Like,
humans.
why is this person, what are the circumstances, and how can we as society, which is what they call the liberal disease.
Yeah.
And I get why people think it's bad, because you can't rescue strays all the time. Or
Yeah.
you have to have a big enough yard where you can rescue strays. And people do that. There's like people who do it with animals. There's people who do it with humans. People through churches. I wish churches would do it more than they claim to. Usually they're just about, oh, do you need help? Yes, I need help. Do you believe in Jesus? Yes, I do. Okay, bye. Next person. It's like, no, fucking help them. Like, actually do Jesus' work.
A lot of churches do give out a lot of food.
There are, yeah.
There are a lot, like almost every church around here has a day or two a week where they make lunch for the needy, and they have grab bags, or once a month they give out grocery bags.
And I
to
think for a
people in
lot
need.
of people, it's just to absolve them of their guilt. Because I think we all realize that we're
I think that
not
there's a lot
doing
of
enough.
people who don't have enough food, and that we don't want people
I'm
to
not
starve.
talking about them.
Okay.
I mean the people that provide the food and the day at the church are absolving themselves of guilt.
Sometimes.
Or they're just trying to help people
Some
have
people,
enough food.
but I think a lot of people. It's very common that people, when they get really rich, they find dominionism, which is a belief that it's all God's will, and it's God's will that I'm really rich.
Yeah.
And it's God's will that you're really poor.
Yeah.
Therefore, I don't have to feel guilty that I'm really rich and you're poor. As a matter of fact, God thinks I should get more wealth. And that's a very common trait in the West. And it's common in India, in the caste culture. It's how people rationalize inequality.
Yeah, I've definitely had some of these thoughts driving my Tesla past MacArthur Park after training
like,
jiu-jitsu
why are you-
on
yeah.
a Wednesday night.
We
I
were
have
born
the
on third
time
base.
and space that I can go and drive to downtown LA to take class from you, and in this super fancy place, and have this amazing experience. And
In
then
a
I'm gonna go
fancy
buy
car.
some tacos in a fancy car. Then I
That
drive
drives
past all
itself.
these people that are struggling. I've definitely had those feelings, but I feel both things. I feel
Yes.
a little bit threatened.
A little threat.
So there is a feeling of like, oh, I don't want to be around this.
Right.
But then also a deep sadness that like this
And
is the
grateful.
state for a lot of people.
Like an
And gratitude,
incredible
too.
amount of, my God, I'm born on
Yeah.
third base.
Yeah.
And when I experience somebody of means complaining, I'm like, I want to say, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Your life is fucking charmed. What are you complaining about?
Yeah.
Well,
And
I
I'm
like to complain.
I mean, we all complain, but like, I can think of a few people out there that have constantly problems in their life. And it seems it stems from not coming from a point of being grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
They're
Gratitude's
looking
a
at
big
what
deal.
they don't have,
Yeah.
what they need, rather than beginning from a point of which they call in Eastern religion spiritual abundance,
Yeah.
not scarcity. Because people feel like often people who pursue religion, especially the Eastern ones, feel like they need something. They need
Yeah.
nirvana. I need enlightenment. I need all this. The Buddha is hitting that place where you realize, I don't fucking need anything.
Yeah.
I've got everything. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I need to help people realize they don't need anything.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, but I feel like where I'm at, so everybody's on a different place
Yeah.
in their journey, and different things work for different people. So where I'm at, I like to acknowledge. For me, I have to acknowledge what's going on. And that may sound like complaining.
Yeah.
But if I just deny my feelings and my truth,
That's not
I'm going to
healthy,
be
yeah.
sick.
That's not
I'm going to be
healthy, yeah.
stuffing
Yeah.
and it's going to be coming out the seams and we don't even know I might disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
not
I
healthy,
have
no.
to get it out, and it might sound like complaining, but really it's me expressing it, and I get to my solution and I get back to gratitude every single
Yeah.
time or I
Yeah.
would be gone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because this whole thing, this abundance that I live in, which I absolutely 100% know that I live in abundance, that I live better than 99% of people on this planet,
Yeah.
it's a lot to deal with sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
No,
maybe
it
if
is.
you just lived in a shack, you wouldn't have as much going on, right?
Yeah, I get some anxiety sometimes where I'm like, I feel dependent on all this stuff to like feel good. And I'm like, what if I had nothing? Would I still feel good? Like, would I still just be able to rely on my morals and my ethics to make me feel whole?
Yeah.
And
I know that
stresses
feeling.
me out.
I know that
because I
feeling,
feel
yeah.
like I've got so much, you know, and like so much good, like there's so much good going on, and that almost like causes me anxiety. And like, oh, it almost feels like a weakness. Like, am I strong enough? Because like everything's so good around me. If something goes wrong, will I be okay? You know, and maybe jiu-jitsu, we force ourselves into the fire a little bit
Yes.
sometimes, and that helps.
You win
know,
some, you lose some
yeah, you
mindset.
develop
Yeah.
your deal. But
When I travel, obviously I'm spending a lot of time alone and observing other humans, and I can see there's the complainer, pissed off the seat's too small, pissed off this, and like I don't remember what comedian it was. I saw this decades ago, at least, where you're flying at 30,000 miles, 30,000 feet at 600 miles an hour, doing what 100 years ago rich people, it would take them a month to cross. Like it's just like that, like thing, like perspective is so important. Having that perspective, because it's really easy when you travel to feel fear and feel like oh my God, like I never had it until after kids. I started like thinking, fuck, what if the plane crashes? Like all these things. And I was going, like, there's a long time I was always in that just state of grace, you know. Look at me, I'm lucky as fucking shit. I get to travel, and no, the odds are 1,000,000 to 1 that anything's going to happen. Why even think about it? You know, and then like I kind of went through this whole other like weird change in the last couple of years where I started worrying what would happen to my kids if I vanished, or to my family, or things like that.
It has been said that fear stems from losing something that you have or not getting something that you want.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like losing your family and not being able to be there for them, like that's like a very
That's a
like
huge
it
fear,
hits like
yeah.
a core place.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I definitely suffer from the same thing, to like an extreme amount, to like panic and anxiety and like take me to the hospital because I'm dying now, and if I go to the hospital they'll be able to save my life. Panic disorder.
Yeah,
I unfortunately suffer from that.
that's a rough one.
So I haven't been traveling for a while, but
But let's get back to Rick. So
Yes.
Rick,
Back to
Okay.
Rick.
all right, so you're in the
Rick.
park. You're in the park. You're in the park with the
I
dog.
hope Rick is doing okay. What
I
I'm
hope
like,
Rick is alive.
I hope he's alive.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
I have a lot of friends now that I'm 60
That are dead.
in my peer range that have died.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
R.I.P.
Let's get back to
friends.
the story though. So
He shows up with his
you're
dog.
at the park and then you see the dog.
And I see the dog.
And what's next?
And I
I
pet
said,
the dog.
"Are you hungry? Let's go eat."
I pet the dog. Yeah, he said, "Hey, what's up?" Like, I don't even remember. He probably said very few words to me. He was like, "Do you want to go grab some tacos?"
We
or
jumped in
something?
my truck and got tacos.
And I was like, "Sure, I'll go with you." What an idiot. He could have been a killer. I didn't
could've.
know him.
Wait, did you know that this is who Rick was talking
I
about?
did. I knew
He
right away.
figured it
You
out.
knew right away.
I figured it out right away. I'm like,
Where was it?
and it was like a month earlier. And I'm like,
A
wow,
local hangout.
this is the girl. That's,
A
yeah.
local hangout that shall remain
Local
undisclosed.
hangout in Hermosa Beach.
We don't want anybody to know.
Well,
where they
yeah,
can
you guys
meet-
are core
meet
lords.
their future, whatever.
Not
Yeah,
as
we're
South
core
Bay core
lords.
lords.
We met at a place.
South Bay core lords
And I
won't
was
even
like,
won't even
okay,
give
I'll
up the
go with
hangout
you,
spot.
because I'm an idiot. Because I just jump into random dudes' trucks.
Okay.
Like, that's
A
who I
place
am.
where technically you're not supposed to even bring your dog, but people kind of did, and I was one of those people. I've always been that.
Breaks the rules. And I'm an extreme rule follower, by the way.
Rules are guidelines.
Unless I'm wasted, then I get arrested. So.
And then one of my other requirements, because the relationship I just gotten out of was one of those ones where I got to go train. It would be, again? Didn't you train last night? Look, I just made tacos. Stay home. And it's like, it was...
Tacos.
It was-
I don't make tacos. No, I'm just kidding.
It was keeping me off of the mat. My relationship was glad that I was tough and did with jiu-jitsu, but didn't like me
to actually do it.
going and doing yeah. And had no interest in her training. None.
Yeah.
So one of my requirements was, and I'd seen other relationships, I'd seen guys doing really good at jiu-jitsu, get in a relationship, and suddenly vanish.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not want to have my relationship get in the way of my jiu-jitsu ever again. So that meant this person has to either be an enthusiastic backer or preferably want to do it. And she wanted to do it. So
On
I'm
our
like,
second date, I
Second
was
date.
interested.
Mm-hmm.
And I proceeded to do it for all these years.
and that's kind of how it happened.
Not because he does it, because I was actually interested in it before I met him. I just wasn't gonna like seek it out, and I didn't have a lot of money back then. I worked at a marine lab. I made $7.25 an hour,
With
and
a
I worked
bachelor's
full
degree in-
time
in
with the
marine
bachelor's degree,
biology.
marine biology, and I couldn't afford in much.
What lab did you work at?
The Sea Laboratory in Redondo Beach.
Oh,
I was
cool.
an education intern there.
Oh, cool.
And I was helped, take care of the animals, and then we also did like programs where we did field trips and we led them through labs and different things. It
Yeah.
was fun.
It was cool.
Yeah,
So
it
you
was
guys went out to eat,
Yeah, we
Yeah,
went to
first day.
Rosas,
Rosas.
Hermosa Beach.
and were you just having fun, or were you like, "Oh, this guy's kind of cute"?
No, I thought he was cute.
And you were thinking,
Okay, he went to this place and sat down right across from me.
And I
And
was
he was
older than
staring
you, yeah.
at me. He was staring at me. He had a wallet chain. He had a Pendleton buttoned up to the top, and he sits right across from me, and he's staring at me.
My hair slicked back.
And I was like, and I noticed him, and then this dog's outside, like going, oh, because Jack used to talk.
Jack would talk, yeah.
Oh. That's how Jackie talked.
Oh.
Sadie, he went, oh, mama. I taught him how to say mama. Mama. So, anyways,
you were on the flannel. You had the flannel.
yeah,
buttoned
he
up-
was like
buttoned up the
flannel.
top
This
button?
was end of February in 2003.
I thought I was cool.
He thought he
I thought
was
I was
so
at the
cool.
height of my game.
So I was like, yeah, I didn't even register to me that he was any older than I was.
Yeah.
Okay, because he looked really young. So we go out to eat, and then he starts asking me these really intense questions and like telling me all about his life and being a police officer and this and all these things he's done. And I'm like, what? And then he goes, and he says, yeah, I just don't know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, how old are you? Because I thought he was my age. I was 24, and I was like a super immature 24, like maybe like the level of a 16, maybe 15-year-old. Like I played
I was
hacky
a super
sack.
immature 38-year-old.
I played hacky sack. I hung out with a bunch of guys. Like I just was, anyways, like ate really bad. Anyway, so he was like, I'm 38, and I was like, and you're not married and you don't have any kids?
And I
That's
felt
in
like
my head.
Yeah.
What a 38-year-old does is they get married and have kids by then.
Yeah, 24, 38
Right.
seems really old.
And I would have, but those relationships failed. And I was
Instead, he lived in this little room back here. This is where he lived.
is where I
In
lived.
this room. With a bed and he didn't even watch TV at the time.
no, I had a bed and a desk.
He had a bed and a desk.
VCR.
Videos. You had videos.
Yep.
A VCR, a VHS.
I didn't have cable.
No cable. Didn't
No
watch
internet.
TV. Nothing. So, anyways, but we did a roses, and then I think you dropped me back off, and you were like, I gotta go somewhere, and I think you went to train.
Oh, I probably
And
was going
then
to
he
train.
called me the next day. Called me the next day, and he was like, do you want to go to the dog park? because I was really into dogs. And
Oh, you were watching
I had
your
a little Chihuahua, my
sister's
sister's
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua Molly. And so we met up at the dog park, and he had Jack and I had
Mm-hmm.
Molly, and that was the second time I saw him. And then he I think he asked me over for dinner. I think that was the next one. And that's when he showed me the jiu-jitsu in the mat room, and he cooked like some frozen food. No, I don't know. He
I
made
was a
like
bad cook.
he
I
made
could cook
shrimp and rice or something.
pasta with some olive oil, some chopped up tomatoes, sprinkle some spices on it. It was good.
There you go.
Right?
Nailed it.
No, you shush.
Oh, it's Missy.
Yeah.
Nice. That's amazing.
You shush.
Yeah. And so within like 2 weeks, I want to say I was living at my grandma's house in San Pedro because I had a really toxic relationship with this drug addicted psychopath who was probably
ended up
doing
being a
prison
rapist,
for
yeah.
life by the time he was 48,
For
46.
rape murder.
Rape murder, yeah, rape, murder, sodomy, whatever. Anyways, he lived next door to my mom, so I had moved in with my grandma. I got kicked out of my dad's because he was whatever, and so I moved in with my grandma, and I'm commuting back and forth from San Pedro to Redondo Beach to go to Sea Laboratory. He lives in Redondo Beach. So he goes over to my grandma's house and gets all my stuff and brings it over here. I didn't have a lot of stuff. I had a few things. But yeah, he took his truck. He had a truck, puts my stuff in there, and I moved into this room with him.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's it. That's it. That's how easy it is.
Nice.
Easy peasy.
Yep. Most of my life, I had a truck. It's weird not having a truck.
Yeah, you got a truck.
Feels like they're like really important to have.
You got to have a truck.
But then when I'm overseas in like Europe and Asia,
No
like
one
cars
has a
aren't even
truck.
that important.
Nope.
Right?
I don't know. The spatial situation, especially in California where everything's so far apart and spread out,
Yeah. It seems more
different.
important.
It's
Yeah.
car culture for a reason because
Yep.
we have to drive places, right?
We are the only place in the world where it matters so much what you drive.
Well,
I'm always tripped out another place. I'm like, God, people, whether they're rich or poor, they don't care about what make and model their car is, you know?
I just also think we're super spread out compared to other places. I think that's the practicality of it.
Yes,
Is
we
the
are.
United States is vast and wide, and like you need to go long distances to do
Yep.
stuff. So
Maybe
it makes
in
sense.
Australia, a lot of people drive trucks in Australia.
Yes,
They
in
have those
trucks,
things
yeah.
with those snorkels because
Yep.
they're all like into
Going over
outdoorsy
land.
type
Yep.
things.
Up until World War II, like I don't remember the exact numbers. I advise anyone to
What's she have?
look it up on the internet, but it's really interesting how west of the like most of America still lives east of the Mississippi River.
Most of America lives east
The
of the
West is
Mississippi.
still very sparsely populated with the exception of the coast.
Yeah.
And till World War II and the need for war, we didn't have highways, and it was really hard to get from the East Coast to the West Coast. Like I've been really into all these new westerns out, like 1883 and Hostile and all that, because that's what like our great grandparents did going west. Like that was a rough time.
Yeah, it's
really
crazy.
rough. 1 in 4 kids died of a disease. Like, again, that's that thing where I like to always start from, God, I'm so fucking lucky I live in the age of modern medicine and vehicles and science and screens in our pockets, and we have nothing to claim. But at the same time,
Yeah, I used to think about that stuff all the time. The town I grew up in is a gold mining town, and we lived walking distance to the Pioneer Trail, which
that's
is the
cool.
trail that people took with
Yeah.
horse and wagon to like come to the gold mining area. And to this day, there's big ruts in the trail where the wagon wheels would ride.
That's
the width of a wagon wheel.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just
Pre-paved
like,
roads,
I mean,
internal
it's just
combustion
and it's just
engine,
this trail that like weaves through all the trees and stuff. It's like you can just
that's a
imagine the
trip,
people in the
yeah.
wagons going up there. Anyway,
That
that's a
that
long
was gnarly, yeah.
tangent from our topic. So
There was romance back then.
yeah, oh yeah,
But
God,
there was
definitely.
probably more
unhealthy romance for sure.
Yeah, maybe there was some romance, but
You're putting it out
women
to
were
stay
kind of
alive.
like
Women were chattel, yeah.
property, and
Yeah.
maybe they were slapped around a little more.
Yep.
And I don't think it was that great for my kind back
No.
then.
Yeah, it seems like back at
Died in childbirth all the time.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
That's why
Popping out
men,
10 kids, die on the 11th,
which is why men are attracted to big hips and big butts.
and they
That's
can't
part of
not lie.
biology. Yep.
What about boobs?
Boobs are important, but like your
Boobs to feed all the babies?
well,
They were much bigger. than I got
biologically,
babies.
you're very efficient because your boobs get huge when they need to, but then
To breastfeed, yes. That's
you
why.
got to go run in the field when you don't.
Yeah. So is there anything in your jiu-jitsu life that you feel like really helped your relationship? Because I'd say my perspective today, looking at you guys, knowing you the way that I do, is that you have a really good relationship in a lot of great ways. And I know all families and everything is challenging.
I think it looks that way from the outside.
Yeah, and I mean, even I think
But
it
it
always
really sucks from the inside.
feels that way, I think, when you're in these relationships long term, because you have all these challenges going on, but you guys seem to me like you consistently persevere the challenges, and you guys really do work together a lot and respect each other at a deep level.
I often wonder if
He's like, no comment.
no, there's a comment on it. Like, I wonder if is it like was this true 100 years ago, or is it a phenomenon of now and Instagram and TV and all that? That it looks like from the outside, other people there's normal, right? Normal, healthy relationship. Does that even really exist? And like Maslow's hierarchy of needs wasn't even like established until the 60s, or right? Like, I don't know. You know, it's like, what is
I
a
would just
healthy
say,
relationship? And
well, I mean, the first thing, it has to be something, right? So you're in a relationship still. That's one big thing.
So
Relative.
many people just say, screw this, I'm out,
Yeah.
I'm getting a divorce, blah, blah, blah. And no offense to anybody that does.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the better thing. I think he and I are both a little stubborn. And we both don't give up on hard things.
Yeah.
Those are things that we have in common. We
Yeah.
both have a lot of tenacity and a lot of perseverance.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're really looking for something better somewhere, because I think ultimately we're both convinced that any other relationship, we're just going to bring ourselves with us.
Well,
And so
it
nothing
doesn't
else is
sound
any
fun.
easier. And to break up our family, I mean,
Yeah.
it might be one thing if we were going through a bunch of stuff and we didn't have the kids and everything, but we have a whole life together. So,
and
you know, so
looking for another relationship does not sound fun and romantic and exciting. It sounds awful.
miserable.
Right? Oh God,
Apparently
going on a
it's
date,
super
thinking
easy
you
these
might
days.
like the person, and then finding out there's something about them that you really can't like. Oh God, it's like yeah.
But I mean, there's always things, right? Like we can think, I think it's very common for people who've been together as long as we have, which is 22 years.
Yeah.
We've been living together, cohabitating for 22 years. That's a long time. I think that things get on each other's nerves. And then people get older and they get more like quirky in different ways. You know, you go through different things, and you got to give each other the space to be that way. And like I said earlier, if something's bugging me, I might complain about it. I might call my mom and be like, oh, Chris did this. But I get over it. It's not like I'm going to sit there and be like,
Yeah.
oh, this
Yep.
is a deal breaker, I'm out of here. No, it's like,
Yeah.
no, I just got to vent. I got to say,
Yep.
Chris did this one thing. It drove me nuts. And now I'm going to let it go, because it's not like,
And
you
I
know.
try to coach a lot of my jiu-jitsu students. Melissa does too. And often we're not even coaching on how their arm bar is. We're talking about their life and not their jiu-jitsu on the mat, but their jiu-jitsu tactics off the mat. How do I get along with this person I'm in a relationship with? How do I get along with my stepkids? How do I find a relationship, coach? I'm lonely. Like there's all that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like a lot of the characteristics you develop through training jiu-jitsu help you persevere and help you work through these situations and help you maintain a mutual respect amongst people. And I think that's the thing that I see with you guys the most, is that you guys do have a mutual respect for each other, and there isn't a
Pretty much.
one
Most of
person
the time.
less than the other.
I think
And,
I was thinking about this yesterday. He told me I'm rude. I think that
To
more
me,
more
not
than
to other
rude
people.
though, I think is that I get moody, and that he takes that as me being rude
Yeah.
because I'll be in the middle of something. I'll be like, you know, I'll just snap something out when I'm in the middle of something where I'm trying to focus because I have my own form of ADD that allows me, like, I can't get this thing done if I'm getting distracted over here. So anyways, we have little dynamics. What they call them a lot in like therapy type of stuff is like it's a dance. It's a but back to what you were saying before. I would like to propose that he and I both came into jiu-jitsu as people who were up for a challenge. You know, those are qualities that we already had. They're qualities that I think a person needs to have to be in a martial art. He's been in jiu-jitsu since 1988. I've been in jiu-jitsu since 2003. We persevered through that relationship because we're people who stick with things. That's just something about who we are that is not necessarily learn that from jiu-jitsu. That's part of like
There's a personality.
wouldn't you say that jiu-jitsu helped you cultivate that though? And
No,
it
I would
helps
say
you
that I-
work on, like, bring that out more? Like, someone can come into jiu-jitsu with...
I think it's hard to
develop
see what
those
life would be
things.
like without jiu-jitsu is what I kind of think part of it is.
I
can't
just
imagine life
I
without
just think
jiu-jitsu
that
at this point.
the people who really stick into jiu-jitsu or get really into anything and they do it for such a long time, I think that there's something about them. I don't necessarily think that it's the art. I think that it's something about, and maybe it's not always the same, but for me, I feel like it's something about me and who I am that sticks in, hangs in, pushes through pain. Because that, you know, I would say that I learned different levels of athleticism and training that weren't all beneficial through jiu-jitsu. I learned how to push through pain in unhealthy ways through jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's all good.
Yeah.
Nothing's all good.
No, I would say that especially the way that I did jiu-jitsu was not, I don't think it was, in retrospect, looking back. It's like my cousin asked me the other day because I've scheduled my hip replacement. I have tons of neck arthritis, pain, still suffering symptoms of a concussion. And my cousin, who's a little younger than me, looked at me and goes, well, was it worth it? And I was like, what? What are you even talking about? He's like, all those years of hardcore jiu-jitsu training, was it worth it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know if my body completely can't like function and be okay at all, if it's worth it, you know?
If you ask
Hickson, if I could,
he says yes.
He says yes. Well, that's him.
But that's Hickson, right?
That's him.
Hickson's all in.
But also too, when he was 46 years old, he wasn't falling apart.
He was pretty.
At 46.
Yeah, he was pretty racked up.
Really?
Yeah.
46, 20 years ago.
I mean,
The Hickson Gracie of 20 years ago was falling apart.
he could still pull it out his ass, but then he had really bad back and hip problems.
Okay.
Really bad.
Well.
Yeah, it's so funny the more you think about this stuff. Like, there just is no answer. There's no, like, this is how you do stuff. There's, like, best practices, and there's considerations.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's interesting. That goes for relationships, too.
Well, I think that the knowledge and awareness is increasing. And when I think about myself, I mean, maybe Hickson did whatever, and he probably trained in a lot of ways that weren't that healthy.
Definitely.
And I think that athletes and coaches and trainers are getting smarter, not only with men, but also with women who I think need to be coached and trained a completely different way. And a lot more research is being done, I think, and I hope, on that, because women are different and our bodies are different, and we need to respect that.
I really think, for me, for sure, like that 35 to 45 is truly the age where I often, like as a joke, I say it's when the injury of unknown origin starts to happen, where you go to sleep seemingly fine, wake up and your knee hurts. You're like, oh, what was that? You're like, oh, that was when I hurt my knee in my 20s. I thought that was all better. Like all that kind of stuff. And I was definitely more miserable in my 40s, like complaining all the time. Like, God, why am I hurt all the time? Ow. Like now I don't, but that's because I changed the way I trained. A lot of it is.
Yeah.
But it was pain that pushed the growth.
Interesting. Yeah, so if you're in a relationship and it's causing some pain, right? You can bail, or you can
bail.
push through the
Yeah.
pain and try to persevere and try to see if you could come out the other end more.
And that's that thing.
Deeper
Like,
understanding.
is the grass greener on the other side? Like, which is what, like, I know people that every couple of years they get out of the relationship they're in and find a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is seemingly the one.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of years go by, and no, that wasn't the one. Now I'm in the one. And that a couple of years go by, oh, I was wrong. Now I'm in the one.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be an addictive cycle because the honeymoon phase of a relationship is fun, right?
Yep.
When before you really settle into being with that other person. But I will just say that Chris and I have been through so much, probably more than your average bear in the 22 years that we've been through. We've been through some really, really high quality issues, like life and death issues, personal issues in our lives, and
Friends and family bullshit.
all the things, and that we have sought help. We've sought help a lot.
It's important to seek outside help.
Through therapy, through
Individual,
other programs,
couple, it's
a lot of
important.
different things, and we are still in a position where we need help.
Yeah.
We are in constant need of help. As much as he could say, "Oh, I could do anything," we as a couple need help and support, and and it's important for us to have friends and family that support us, but also people that don't even know us that well, who maybe have a little bit more information on psychology and how to navigate, certain issues. So anyways, and also, I think for a relationship, it's really important to set aside time to be with your partner where you can talk to each other, and feel heard and feel supported by each other. Otherwise, relationships on or off the mat are not going to...
Resentments are what kill relationships, all relationships, romantic or not.
Yeah.
People get like with jiu-jitsu as an example. It's very common that people get to a place where they resent their coach.
Oh yeah,
Because
we love that one.
their coach isn't doing it for them, or coach, why didn't you teach me that? And like the coach usually going, I kind of did, but you didn't listen, or like whatever, right? And then that's when, just like relationships, they go find a new friend or a new romance partner or a new team or a new whatever. Like there is that. But then I think the healthy way is to look inward. And like I think our human default is to blame things on the exterior. Like, oh, that's happened because of this person. That happened because of this bad day. That happened because I was born in the wrong socioeconomic group. Like, and I see how people can rationalize dominionism. Like, that's God's will. You should be that way. But at the same time, I think it's really empowering to deny that impulsive reaction to blame something exterior. And not in an unhealthy way, not in a beat yourself up way, but I'm like, what did I do? Like, what was my part in this thing? And even if you have no part, or it's only 5%, to try to only go, what's the 5% I can fix? I think just having that attitude on the mat or off the mat will serve you better than, God, the coach didn't show me this. That whole.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I think that a lot of times we as individuals, I'll talk about myself, I could feel very unhappy with my life, right? I could think my Doberman dug this giant pile of dirt in my backyard, and I'm angry, and where am I gonna project this anger? Am I gonna be mad at my husband for not fixing the dirt pile? Or do I just go fix it myself? And if I fix it myself, I'm really not mad at him. I'm mad at the dirt pile. So I went and fixed the dirt pile myself. I'm not mad at him. I found a solution. I laid something down on the dirt pile. And it's
dirt
adequate.
pile,
It's working
God.
great because it's not. Have you noticed the mat room's cleaner since I covered the dirt pile? You might not notice, but it is, because the dogs would track the dirt back and forth on the mat in the house, everywhere. I
Within-
was surrounded and drowning in dirt.
But 2 months, one hole grew into a giant
But
area.
I just laid something. He collects things, and I found something he collected and laid it over the pile.
Yep, the old tarp
Works
from the
like
other
a charm.
trampoline.
Works like a charm. And now I'm happy about,
Yes.
at least about the dirt pile.
And I looked out and said, I'm glad I didn't throw away that other trampoline tarp.
Well,
like
his
I'm
first
thinking,
reaction was,
why
I was
am I
thinking, his
keeping
first
that?
reaction was, I was thinking about laying sod there.
Yeah, I was
I
thinking
said,
sod.
okay, well, until you do.
But then I could just picture coming home, seeing the dog with a big pile of sod running up in its mouth, going, "Oh, thanks for buying me sod."
So maybe my tarp solution was the solution.
I think
Who
it's
knows?
yes.
Well,
Puppy phase.
you can't always get what you want. But
Nope.
if you try,
Yep.
you'll get what you need.
Need.
There you go.
And if you have a puppy on the day one, no, you're going to lose shoes for 6 months,
Yeah.
probably
And
2
you might
years,
have dirt piles.
and you're going to have a dirt pile.
If you're fortunate enough to have a big backyard with dirt.
Yes.
Well, we're out of time, you guys.
Let's
I had all this
wrap-
other
all
stuff
right.
I wanted to say,
Oh.
but that was pretty good. I think there's some good considerations. Let's
Yep.
just wrap it up.
All
Let's
right.
do
Right
it.
here.
All right.
Pound, like, and subscribe.
马的毅力，一步一个脚步，前无古人大师。
Well, we all have targets on our backs these